Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Oh! Oh no! Oh my god! No, no way! Oh! It's Saber Oh, look at these fights! Hey guys, what is up? It is me, back here with another episode of Let's Talk About It, where I talk about all the topics going on in the movie, TV, and video game world. The topics that interest me that I want to share with you guys, and I think that you guys want to hear as well. And, guys, let's get started with the show today. Let's move on to our first topic here today, and that one is this. Invincible. Invincible has had major success on Amazon Prime, its animated series. And, we also know that they are working on an Invincible live action film. And, we know that probably it's not going to be Stephen Yeun being the live action Invincible in this film. But, there's been very, very limited, information we've got about the film. Well, according to the comicbookmovie.com, we kind of get a little bit of an update. According to Comic Book Movie, Invincible, Robert Kirkman shares a big update on long-delayed plans for a live-action movie. So, Robert Kirkman, if you don't know, he's the creator of Invincible. He's the one who wrote the comic, he wrote the comic, and he's the co-creator on the animated and live-action movie coming. And this is what he had to say. We're still working with Universal. The show is going so well. I think the movie absolutely has to be perfect. And so, it's taking a lot of time. Getting the pieces aligned and getting everything to work so that we can come out and make it as good as it can possibly be. So, it's been in development for a long time, and it's probably going to be in development for a while longer. So, that's kind of the little update we got with Invincible. And, personally, I'm very excited to see the Invincible movie. I do think that if they do this movie, it has to be a rated R film. I think it's the only way you can do Invincible if it is rated R. And of course, you have to, like he said, the animated series is very much beloved now. Invincible's in the limelight, so I think people are expecting, a bit, it's a bit of a higher standard now for people. It's very much of a bigger, higher standard for people, and I totally get that, because I think that season 1 of the show is really, really great. I think season 2 dropped the ball a bit. I wasn't the biggest fan of season 2. I felt like it was a bit, but they're going into some great content in the animated show, but I think the movie could do well. I think, you're not looking really at, in my opinion, of a Deadpool and Wolverine situation, because I think they're being hesitant, because this is being done by Universal, look at The Crow. The Crow is a superhero property based on comic books of a very, very cult classic movie. And you look at that, the movie did not do well. It's going to be a major flop for the studio. And, I think, Robert Kirkman, is taking his time. I think you need to take as much time as you need, because to get this right, this could be the next really big superhero property, in my opinion. Invincible got the animated show. Marvel and DC really rule the video game, the superhero movie world. And, we got a lot of other cool superhero projects, not just from Marvel and DC, but, we have the new Olivia Wilde, Margot Robbie, Evangeline coming out, which I'm very interested in. We have Invincible, there's The Boys, all other superhero universes, that could be really, really amazing, because, Marvel and DC, don't just have to be the ones out there. This is a space that anyone can get into. There's so many different iterations of comics, there's so many interesting comic book characters out there, and, personally, I would love to see them come to the big screen. And no offense to Marvel and DC, I love their projects. But I think, shows like Invincible and The Boys have put a really different and unique spin on the superhero genre, presenting us superheroes in the real world, that, it's not just you beat the bad guy and win, there's a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes, Invincible, showed us how violent a show could be. So is The Boys. And, I think you got to go for that rated R with this film, but you also need to not be a complete copycat of the animated series. You need to go do your own thing, make it so people will see it's like, oh, this is just an animated show in a live action movie. No, it's a movie that's very different from the animated show. But guys, those are my thoughts on this Invincible live action film that has been in development since 2017. So now we're done with that topic. Let's move on to our second topic here today. And that is this. A little sizzle reel came out yesterday for the 85th anniversary of Marvel. And of course it was a very, very heartwarming sizzle. It very reminded me of the sizzle they did back in the pandemic where they had updated us on all the movies coming out, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, unveiled, some of the new titles for the films, with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania. It was very, very good to have it during the pandemic. But this one got me in the motions as well, but also it presented us with some new footage. According to the comicbookmovie.com, Marvel Studios shared its first official HD look at Daredevil Born Again, Ironheart, Thunderbolts, and Red Hulk. Now, these are all the things they really showed at D23. A lot of it we've already seen. It's like one single image of each project. They have the image with the Thunderbolts cast in the elevator. There's a picture of HD version of Daredevil, and then they have one with Ironheart flying in the suit, and then they have ending it with the Red Hulk transformation we saw leaked online from D23. Now, sure, it's not much, but it just kind of making us fans excited for what's coming up. I look at the slate of movies and TV shows coming up from Marvel, and I think you got some really good ones. This is not really going to be like about this article, just like me going through now and telling you guys what Marvel projects I'm really excited for. What are the Marvel projects that I think are going to be hits, and what are going to be misses. So let's check out these Marvel projects. And we're not going to go through, we're just going to go through, what we have from 2024 to 2025. Not going to 2026 or 2027. Just 2024 to 2025. And so let's go for the first one. Agatha All Along. When they first announced this, I wasn't as excited. I wasn't super excited for it. Don't get me wrong. I love WandaVision. That show is still my favorite Marvel TV show they've ever done. It is such a great show. It was really, I think the only superb Marvel show they've done so far, because it was on a show every week I would tune in for an episode. I would even tune in at midnight to watch this show because it was so great. And so, you have them going in and doing the Agatha All Along series. And, I thought Agatha was an interesting character. I thought, she's very cool, but overall, I wasn't super excited for it. And then we've had two trailers so far, and I have to say, it's gotten me a bit more excited about the film, the show. Because, it's exploring, a person with no powers. Agatha had her power taken away by Wanda Maximoff. And we also have possibly the introduction of Wiccan, one of Wanda's children. And it gets us now into the explanation of that. And, one of my favorite comics that I've read, when I was a kid, it's not a comic a lot of people talk about, but it's a little comic called Avengers: The Children's Crusade, which is about the young Avengers and Billy Maximoff discovering he possibly is the son of the Scarlet Witch, and them going out and trying to find her. And it involves the X-Men, it involves the Avengers, it involves all sorts of characters. And it's a comic I would really love to see adapted into a show or even a big screen movie. I just really want them to adapt it. Maybe you'd make it a Young Avengers movie, but seeing the introduction of Wiccan is what has got me very excited about the show. And I do also hope it does have that WandaVision feeling as well, getting people excited to go see this show. And, hopefully it's going to be making me tuning in day and night, because I think Marvel's kind of getting back to it. We had Deadpool and Wolverine. We had X-Men 97. X-Men 97 was a terrific series. I think it's the best thing they've done since WandaVision. My rankings right now of the Marvel shows goes WandaVision, X-Men 97, Loki season 2, and those are my three favorite things I've seen. And those are, some of them are recent, some of them was like, oh, back during the pandemic, but I think Marvel is trying to get their groove back now. The next project is Captain America Brave New World. And I'm going to give a thumbs up to this. Now, there are concerns about this project. There are concerns about Captain America Brave New World. And that the thing is with Captain America Brave New World that we're kind of hesitant on is that they basically reshot this entire movie. You know, they shot the movie under, I think it was Bob Chapek, where Kevin Feige didn't have control. He saw the movie, he's like, we need to go back and fix this because this is not up to our standard at Marvel. So they did that. And I think the teaser has got me super excited. All the footage I've seen from D23, from Comic-Con, has got me even more excited for it. And I'm excited to see characters. My one hope, though, is that in the original version, you know, they had Diamondback in there. And you probably guys wondering, like, why are you excited about a character in Diamondback? Diamondback has a very, very interesting relationship in the Marvel Comics. Especially with Steve Rogers, you know, she's kind of, you know, there's kind of like a love triangle between Steve Rogers, Sharon Carter, and Diamondback in that some of those Captain America comics series. And I've always been like, one of the things I really want the MCU to kind of be put in there is romance. You know, romance, I think, you know, he's a really big part, you know, was a really big part of like Iron Man, of Captain America, of Thor, you know, but I feel like they haven't really gone into, you know, romance, you know, the tales of the heart in these series. And, you know, my thinking is like Diamondback, you know, she is a character who's in love with Steve Rogers, Captain America, but what if you switch focus from Diamondback liking liking Steve Rogers, but you switch it to giving Sam Wilson, you know, someone to be by his side, someone, you know, that they have kind of like a Catwoman / Batman relationship. You know, one's on the good, one's on the kind of bad, but also kind of good at heart. You know, I think it would be very interesting, and I really hope they keep Rosa Salazar's Diamondback in this film. But overall, I'm very excited for it. My big, though, hesitation for this is logic. You have Captain America, Sam Wilson. He is not a super soldier. He does not have superpowers. He just has a shield and a jetpack. How is he going to fight Red Hulk? I'm more intrigued than worried about that. I'm like, okay, how is he going to maneuver fighting a Hulk? You know, even the mighty Thor, a Norse god, has difficulty fighting the Hulk. You know, that's one of the concerns I have for it. And at times like this, I'm like, this kind of feels like a Hulk movie rather than a Captain America movie. But with that teaser, I think they've already sold me onto me wanting to go see this movie, and that I kind of trust Marvel about how they're going to handle it. But guys, that's my thoughts on Captain America right there. So let's move on to our next project. Daredevil Born Again. I'm very excited for this series. Daredevil is one of my fan favorite Marvel characters. He was probably the thing for me that redeemed She-Hulk, and the Daredevil series on Netflix, I think, is iconic in name. It's so iconic. Characters that people love, and people love Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and the entire cast of Daredevil. Now, they kind of did the same thing they did with Captain America 4. They went back and retooled the show. Not making it 18 episodes like it was supposed to be originally, but like kind of scaled it down to tell a more, you know, a series that people would like. Because apparently in that original series, we don't see Charlie Cox suit up as Daredevil until episode 4, which that would, I think, really diminished the legacy of Charlie Cox as Daredevil. And I'm glad they went back. And I've seen the leaked trailer for this. This is a dark and gritty Daredevil. And the one thing I am so excited about is Daredevil is actually not my favorite Netflix character. My favorite Netflix Marvel character is the Punisher. Jon Bernthal's Punisher was iconic, in my opinion. He's the reason why I'm so happy he's back. And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Punisher. You know, I there's some comic iterations I like of him, but Jon Bernthal really made me love this character. And I'm so glad they are bringing him back into this Marvel universe, trying to fit him in. And, you know, I'm excited to see that this is really going for a dark, you know, mystery thriller, you know, crime thriller type of vibe I got from the trailer. And I'm excited to see, you know, where it's going to go in this season, because I'm just excited for Daredevil to be back. And who knows, maybe we get some special cameos in the series. Charlie Cox has teased some cameos. But those guys, I'm going to give a thumbs up to Daredevil. Now, the next thing we have coming out in May 2nd, 2025, Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is my most anticipated movie of 2025. I'll say it now. It is the movie I am most looking forward to. And you're probably wondering, why the hell are you looking forward to this movie? You got Fantastic Four, Superman coming out. Why is this your most excited? I am gonna be honest with you guys. I feel like I'm the only one I've met who loves that Black Widow movie. I love that Black Widow movie. I think it's absolutely terrific. Sure, there's some CGI error in it, but I enjoy the hell out of that Black Widow movie. I love the family they set up in that movie, and I especially loved Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh. And, I already loved Florence Pugh before I watched Black Widow, because I saw her in Little Woman, which I think she was really, really great in there. Great in there with Timothy Chalamet. And I'm really excited, because I've always been like, okay, you don't have Scarlett Johansson back. Like, who are your big hitters? I think, one of the big names you have right now in the MCU is Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova. And I think they're trying to set her up to be the next Black Widow. And I loved that leaked trailer that leaked from Comic-Con. I thought it was great. And I love the cast of characters. Because the whole thing about Marvel is, like, they do a villain. The villain maybe lives or dies, but if it lives, we never really see it again. And we're seeing two villains coming back in Ghost and Taskmaster, which is be very excited to see. We haven't seen Ghost since Ant-Man and the Wasp, which can be really cool to see. You have John Walker coming back, and say all you want about the character of John Walker. Wyatt Russell, he's a terrific actor. If that's for what he did in the Godzilla series, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, he, I think, is just a rising talent in Hollywood. And, he is the son of Kurt Russell, so people are like, oh, he's a Nepo baby, he got everything handed to him. Like, no, this guy had to work for what he did, and I think he's a terrific actor, and I can't wait to see where his John Walker is now. The one character I think makes this movie for me is David Harbour's Red Guardian. Red Guardian, I think, is one of the most entertaining characters Marvel has had in a film in the most recent years. He is a guy, who thinks he's old. He thinks he's that guy, but really, he's just a joke. And, the reason Thunderbolts intrigues me is because it's telling, a story of these hired characters. It's the first time I feel like we're getting an anti-hero story in the MCU. And the roster makes me even more excited, and I'm just excited to see the story this movie tells. And also, he's going to be a grounded film. I love... My favorite, actually, films in the MCU is when the films are grounded, set in the real world, not some multiversal Avenger. Of course, I enjoy the multiverse, but I really love, films like Shang-Chi, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, all films, kind of set, not supernaturally or out of this world, it's just movies and shows are set kind of in the real world about real people. That's why I really enjoy Black Widow, that's why I enjoy Winter Soldier, and that's why I really enjoy Shang-Chi. But Thunderbolts coming out May 2nd, 2025. And then I believe this is the final project of Marvel in 2025. That is the Fantastic Four First Steps. Now you're probably wondering, oh, you said your favorite movie was Thunderbolts. Why is Fantastic Four not up on your list? You gotta remember, guys, they have already made 3 Fantastic Four films. They've made the original 2005 version, Rise of Silver Surfer, and the Josh Trank reboot. Well, you can't really call it the Josh Trank reboot because Josh Trank wasn't really the director of that film. But that's a whole other story. And of course, it's got a terrific cast. They got Pedro Pascal, who is like the hottest actor in the world right now. You got Vanessa Kirby, which I love her in the Mission Impossible movies, and of course in Hobbs and Shaw. You also have Joseph Quinn, whose stock is very rising as well. Just was in A Quiet Place Day 1. And then he's going to be in the new Gladiator film, which looks very promising. Then you have Ebon Bachrick as Ben Grimm the Thing. I think it's a terrific cast. I don't think I would change anyone in the cast. I think it's a really great cast. And of course, you also have director Matt Shakman. the guy who was behind WandaVision, and I think he's a guy, and this is going for more futuristic 60s, we know it's an alternate universe, and I think Matt Shackman, really thrives, doing stuff like that. You look at WandaVision, they took inspiration from the years of sitcoms, years of TV. It was like a legacy of television, thrown into that WandaVision series. And I just think he's the perfect guy to handle this project. Now, I am hesitant on the project. I think it's going to be a very, very good movie. But I think the one thing is that I've heard that people think it's going to be a billion-dollar film. I'm going to tell you guys right now, Fantastic Four will not make $1 billion. It won't. It just won't, because Fantastic Four is popular. Sure, they have the Marvel Studios logo on it, but I don't think it will make $1 billion for a few reasons. One, most of the general audience that aren't you guys, who aren't following this movie news, don't really know much about the Fantastic Four. Don't really much care about the Fantastic Four. They know they're like, oh yeah, there was like those 2000s movies, with Jessica Alba. Yeah, I remember those. Those weren't so good. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to go see it. So there's already a sour taste in the mouth that those Fantastic Four is just goofy shenanigans because people just remember the Jessica Alba, Chris Evans Fantastic Four iterations. Another reason I think that this movie will not make $1 billion. Another reason is that this movie, I think, a lot of people don't know about it. People know a Fantastic Four movie's coming, but I don't hear a whole lot of excited talk about Fantastic Four. Like, oh my god, I'm going to be there day one Fantastic Four. I hear a lot of people, talking about Thunderbolts, a lot of people excited for that. And also, the Fantastic Four movies also did not make a lot of money. They, at the time, box office wasn't as high as it was today, but I think the highest those movies made was around $300 million. So this is not $1 billion franchise. And I think, and I'm not saying if it doesn't make $1 billion, it's not good. I think if this movie makes a solid, in my opinion, 600 to 700 million, maybe even 550, it will be successful. I think if you get below 500, it's going to be not great. But I have all the faith in this project. I am excited for this project. It's not my most excited Marvel project, but I think, this is going to be a very good Fantastic Four movie. They're really taking inspiration from the very first appearance of the Fantastic Four. It's going to be set in a 60s futuristic city. You got characters like Galactus and the Silver Surfer showing up. I think there's very much you have to be excited about for this film. But guys, those are the upcoming Marvel projects that are coming. I didn't go over the animated stuff, but just like the really big TV shows and movies. But guys, what do you think? Do you think Marvel is going to get back to where they are with these projects? Or do you think even if they miss once, they are back to where they were before Deadpool and Wolverine? Leave the comments down below, and let's move on to our next topic here. And that's this. Okay, so we're still going to stick on Marvel right now, and we're going to be talking about these Fantastic Four leaks. We got a few leaks coming out from the set, and there's two ones that have happened. Two of them we're going to talk about. So the first leak is this one. It is a leaked image of the Thing and what it's going to look like. Now, people are starting to freak out, saying, oh my gosh, they're doing practical Thing. Oh my gosh. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think what is happening is it's a stand-in. What I mean by stand-in is, you look at, a good example of this is the last Sonic 3 movies. When they were filming Sonic 3, they would make these like stand-in, little like sculptures of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and place them around the set. The reason they had that there is because when they put in the CGI, they can know where the Thing is and how tall or where it's supposed to be when they're VFX in the movie, just so they have like a place to put in the VFX. I think that's what they're doing for the Thing. They have this Thing on set. Maybe there are parts where it's practical in the movie, but overall, I think it's going to be CGI because if you remember a few months ago, Ivan Bosmakrik, I think, was on either Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and they were asking, hey, are you in a suit or they're all CGI? He said, no, it's suit. Because he said, we have the technology to make it look really well nowadays. And, for the time, Michael Chiklis' thing and the practical worked. But now we're kind of beyond that point, which I totally agree with what he said. Ebon Boss-Bachrach, I think he's a very talented actor, very, very, very talented. I don't honestly, that if they can put Thanos and Hulk into like basically pajamas, into the CGI suits, I think they can do that for Ebon Boss-Bachrach, and they can make a pretty good looking thing. But the one other thing about this thing I like is that this thing looks straightly ripped out of the comics. He's got the huge, big unibrow, that thing has. It's a very bulky costume, I think, if you look at the other iterations of the thing, you look at the thing from the original Fantastic Four, Michael Chiklis, practical, but at times, it felt like really stiff with him walking around. I enjoyed that thing, I actually am someone who kind of enjoys that very first Fantastic Four movie, not so much the second, but I do think, it's good. Now you look at the Josh Trank version of Thing, I thought it was a bit of a weirder thing, it was just like kind of like a big boulder, but it was like not like really nicely shaped, and in ways, I wasn't a huge fan of the Thing in that film. But yeah, that's the thing. Now there was another leaked set thing that happened, and that leaked set image was possibly, a look at the Fantastic Car. Now, of course, we know what the Fantastic Car is going to look like. We got a little look at that during Comic-Con, which I think the look for the Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Car look very, very good. Very, very much that 60s alternate future vibe. But, I think they got to add some CGI in there. So the set photos do not show the car. It does show like it's showing the top of the Baxter building, because if you look at these images, you can see, if you look at it from kind of the up, like above all the set, you can see a little 4 on the middle of this building and a bunch of people which look like reporters taking pictures of the Fantastic Four, and then you kind of possibly see Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal in the corner, of this like door that's opened up. So I think, that of course it's not a huge thing, but seeing the Fantastic Four, just seeing the top of the Baxter building, if they call it that, is going to be very, very cool to see. But what do you guys think of these Fantastic Four leaked images? Leave your comments down below, and let's move on to our final topic here today. We have talked a whole lot about Marvel today, a whole lot. And, Marvel's got a lot of great things coming, but there's another movie coming out in 2025 that I'm also very excited for, and that we kind of got some information on, according to Variety. Jurassic World Rebirth. First look. Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey keep the dinosaur franchise roaring. Now, not only did they give us our first images of this new Jurassic World movie, but they also gave us some details. According to the details of this movie, this takes 5 years following the events of Jurassic World Dominion, and it says those remainings exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. It continues to say, the 3 most colossal creatures within the tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. Then it goes into talking about the characters, the film follows Scarlett Johansson's character is a covert ops expert named Zora Bennett, who has been hired by a team to extract this DNA from these gargantuan dinosaurs. Along with Zora is her partner, Duncan Kincaid, played by Mahershala Ali. Then you have Bailey, plays a paleontologist named Dr. Henry Loomis, and then you have Rupert Friend from Homeland and Obi-Wan's The Kenobi series, playing Martin Krebs, the representative of a drug conglomerate funding the expedition. You also have Ed Serkin in the film as well, making up the most part of this team going to get these dinosaurs. I have been very interested in this movie because you look at, Dominion. Dominion kind of soured the tastes in a lot of people's mouth about this franchise. So people thought maybe this franchise isn't really relevant, maybe today. But when they said they were going to make this new Jurassic World movie, they went out and got Gareth Edwards. there's no doubt that Gareth Edwards, I think, is one of the up and rising directors right now, because even if his last movie, The Creator, did not make as much money as we thought it was a brilliant film. It was a beautiful film, and it was a very not expensive movie. And it looked like a $200 million movie. And that's what I love. Because Gareth Edwards can make, an $80 to $100 million movie look like a $200 to $300 million movie. And I love, the way he shoots his movies. He did have some part on Rogue One as well. But what he did with The Creator, it was absolutely stunning. The cinematography, to the CG in the film were absolutely amazing. And, you got big names in here, like Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. And you're wondering, how, if those two signed up for this movie must have something about it. And you'll have David, I think it's David Coep, who wrote the original Jurassic Park, coming back to write this film. I think this movie could have the potential to be very, very good. And I love that they decided to not do what Star Wars did, was just to focus on TV because Rise of Skywalker hit the bucket. No, they're like, we still believe in this Jurassic franchise. We feel like we still have more stories to tell in this world. And I think, they've got a terrific director, a terrific cast. I think they have a very, very amazing script to draw all these people in to come and work on this film. And I am very excited to see what they got cooking on this project. I'm very excited to see. I think the story, is very interesting as well. Thinking that these dinosaurs, might have this medicine in their DNA that will help, save millions. And it does. It does take 5 years after, and I'm thrilled about this project. I'm so excited to see this movie. But guys, what do you think? We got an official name title and some details on the new Jurassic World Rebirth film from Gareth Edwards, the latest entry in the Jurassic World franchise. And guys, that is it for our show. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe as well. And go check out all our other content on our Let's Talk About series, or go check out some of our show reactions. Right now I'm working on Lord of the Rings reactions right now, and I'm also working on our Terminator Zero TV show reactions as well. But guys, I'll see you next time.